Yes, folks, it is me, your boy A Dazzle here on another edition of WrstlXtra. You are listening on AffinityExtra.com, and of course, you are watching on the WrestleManiac YouTube channel. Guys, I can't do this on my own, so of course, I've got the man himself, the WrestleManiac. Mex, what's going on? What's the latest?
Man, I'm still locked up by Instagram, but you know, I'm coming back soon. But other than that, we've had a really good week of wrestling, especially for our black stars. We've got new champions all over the place, top performances all over the place. So I guess we're gonna dig into that today in today's show.
Yes, we are. And folks, let me just say, Mex has come ready with his new Hurt Business shirt, looking like Cedric Alexander around here.
Guys,
you know
guess
what I mean?
I'm in.
Listen.
I'm in. I filed my application.
Shirt, everything. I love it.
And MVP read it and said, "Yeah, we'll have some of you. Not that Titus O'Neil guy. Some of you."
Yo, so let's kick off with let's look at the weekend. It was a busy weekend. There was two pay-per-views that happened. Impact's biggest one of the year, Bound for Glory, and of course WWE with Hell in a Cell. Sometimes, usually the most exciting of the pay-per-views outside of the big four. You know what I mean? I love Hell in a Cell. It always brings at least two great matches at Hell in a Cell. But we had three Hell in a Cell matches over the weekend. And of course, the greatest and stealer of the show was Sasha Banks and Bayley for the Smackdown Women's Championship. Bro, let me say this.
Go on.
For those who are really listening on Affinity Extra, and for my Affinity Extra teammates who don't really get this wrestling thing, if you didn't really get the whole women's wrestling stuff, if you still think it's like bra and panties and all that madness, go and watch that match. 100. And you'll find out about women's wrestling right now, because that match was superb, bro. It was Sasha in the cell. Like, she's done it 3 times now. Always a great performance, but she's always comes up short in the cell. But this time around, she got the win, and she's now the Smackdown Women's Champion, breaking a few records. But yo, give me your take. How did you see this one? Let me know.
You know what? Going into Hell in a Cell, I thought they're gonna play the long game with this a bit longer. And I said Bayley has to win on record. I said Bayley has to win.
Okay.
For this story to continue and end up where it needed to be.
Okay.
Ideally, like I say, a WrestleMania exchange. But they proved in that match that they told that story that I thought was going to be longed out in that match. Like, well, obviously we're going to talk in more bit depth of Sasha Banks, but Bayley has played her part in this entire story as well. Like, it's like I just thought about it the other day. You can't deny this woman, number one, PWI for this past year. It cannot be denied. It cannot be argued. And Sasha Banks, I mean, her performance, as always, is just something else. Like, the woman is a world-class seller. Like,
Trust me.
She can make anything look dangerous, anything look believable.
Trust me.
Her offense is incredible as it is. She's just a complete star. She is a ratings draw. She is the demo goddess, as I call her. After I watched the pay-per-view, I went downstairs into my house. I was on flicking through the channels. I think I was on like some Sky channel or something, Sky One, and the advert for Star Wars The Mandalorian came on.
Wow.
She was on, and I lost my mind. I said, this is why she is the greatest. She has just won the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now she's on my mainstream TV with my advert for Star Wars. Sasha Banks, she's the best thing going right now, honestly.
Real
she
talk,
deserves
bro.
all the accolades.
Real talk. And that leads us onto the question that we have for this week. Like, are we really going to see now that it's the SmackDown Women's Championship? Because before, she's had the Raw Women's Championship 5 times now, never been able to defend it. So that's kind of almost like the running theme with that championship itself.
Yeah.
Now that she has the SmackDown one, first time she's ever had it, do you think WWE will really now go full tilt with Sasha Banks?
They've got to, man. Like, honestly. And to be honest, I think Smackdown has got a very good women's roster. Obviously, they've been building up Carmella's return or whatever that is in the last few weeks. Zelina Vega's coming into her own in this singles division. Bianca Belair, we're all waiting to see what they do with her. There's some other names as well, but I think Sasha has to kind of go through at least the upper mid-card of those guys. I mean, I don't want Bianca Belair to face Sasha until she's completely ready and she's going to beat Sasha first time.
My thoughts exactly.
But yeah, Sasha deserves a run. I mean, you touched on the previous record of the Raw, winning it and losing it. And if I'm correct, her accumulated days as Raw Women's Champion is something like 40 or something like that, which is pitiful for a 5-time Raw Women's Champion.
5-time champion.
Because that's roughly,
40 days.
Yeah, because that's roughly about 40 days with 5 reigns. It's
that's
about
like
a week.
That's like 8 days.
Yeah.
8 days every time.
And that's just basically waiting the next week to a Raw. Like, it's very, very bad. It is something like probably really about 40, 50 accumulated days. So, Sasha Banks, this is the time. WWE have surely realized in this COVID period that she is the draw. And they need to keep her top, keep her strong, and yeah, if they don't do this now, then I don't know.
Bro, listen, I'm telling you now, because even when she won the Raw Women's Championship a few months ago, I was like, okay, this is it now. This is gonna be Sasha's time.
Yeah.
Singles run, everything, all her flowers, everything, man. But then obviously she lost it straight away. Yeah. As always, and I was just like dumbfounded as to think like, what's next. Luckily, of course, she was still in this whole thing with Bayley, so there was hope of still being made a star. But now that she has this championship, now that it's kind of come from a long-winded storyline as well, surely there is no way she's either going to lose it and get straight away to Bayley or lose it to anyone else that kind of comes along. I believe we'll see her with the championship for a good few weeks, because Survivor Series is coming up and they've already promoted her versus Asuka. Raw champion versus SmackDown champion. So at least we'll get her for, almost
she'll hold
40
it for
days.
A bit longer.
Almost 40 days. You know what I mean, with that one. So that's a good thing, of course. Also to say as well that she is now a Grand Slam champion and has won every championship possible within WWE right now, and has also won every women's main roster championship in the space of not even in 2020, but not even a year. I'm sure it's like 3 months, if that.
I saw something circling around that. Yeah, she's won. Yeah, that, like you said, she's won all the main roster women's championships in a space of 5 months.
It's 5 months. Wow, that's crazy, bro. To even just do that within the space of 12 months, no one's ever done that either. So to do it within 5 months, as much as one of them was she lost it straight away, but at the same time, it's been part of what has easily been the best story, the best action, just the best part of pro wrestling in 2020. I don't think that can be argued in any way, shape or form. What she and Bayley have done in the last 7 to 8 months has just been phenomenal. And to have it, I don't know, I mean it feels like it's the end for them too, for this storyline, and that would be absolutely fine. But it would still be also fine if it carried on. I don't know how it would. I have no idea how it would. But I don't think I'd complain if, in some way, it was done right.
Yeah, I don't think it's the end. I think that we're probably going to see Bayley interrupt the Asuka Sasha match at Survivor Series, possibly, because they probably don't want to have anyone lose there. And then, who knows? Does Bayley win Royal Rumble? And we get Sasha Bayley on the big stage. Obviously, Sasha champion going in. I don't feel like it's finished, but like same with you, I wouldn't mind if it is for now, because it's one of those feuds that it's always on and off.
Right.
So if they continued it, fine. If it finished, fine. But yeah, we're in a good position.
I think we're gonna see a level of long-term storyline between the two. Whether they'll get mixed up with other people and other stuff like that, but there'll always be that tension between them two now. Kind of, very similar to Shawn Michaels and Triple H back in the day, or even now with Randy Orton and Edge. There's gonna be those them ones there. There's gonna be all of that kind of best friend, worst enemy type thing forever, which is gonna be great. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens next, really, with Sasha's storyline, and going forward, as you said, like, she's now a bona fide star, bro. Like, on, in and out of the ring, it's 100. Undeniable. She just oozes this star power that's just ridiculous. And it's not because she's the best at everything. I think what she has the best of is the balance. I think she has the best balance of everything. Everything kind of comes together perfectly. I think for me, the only person who comes close is Charlotte Flair. Yeah. In terms of ability, definitely, probably Charlotte Flair comes out on top. But yeah, I think Sasha's connection with everyone is just different. That is very true. Like, that is very true.
It's the star power, She's coming out the other day for a contract signing, and she looks like $1 million.
Bro, she was just wearing a tracksuit, bro. Bro, she's just wearing a tracksuit, bro. Some girls go like that to the gym.
She ain't
and
won
she's come
nothing
out in
yet.
that, and you're like, what?
She ain't won nothing yet. She has no reason to talk. She's actually in WWE a perennial second place loser. That's how they've kind of pictured her. But at the same time, she knows I'm the boss. She said,
and it was interesting as well.
And did it.
It was interesting. She was on the New Day podcast last week, and during that podcast, there was a clip that I shared on my page as well, where she was talking about being the best. She calls herself the best. You know what I mean? And it's not because everyone else does. It's not because, it's that's the attitude that she has. And what was nice about how she was saying it was also saying to the three guys of the New Day is that that's what you should be doing as well. Regardless of who you are, what you do, know or approach life as if you are the best.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You can maybe even think in the back of your mind that you're not, or there is someone who's better than you at so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if you don't approach life feeling as if you're the best or even going to be, it's pointless, and it's obvious now. She's at that point of confidence. Bro,
you can really tell.
Undeniable.
You can really tell that this is her everything. That wrestling, I think I heard her say once that when women eventually do headline WrestleMania, she wants to be the first woman, and the fact she wasn't,
she wanted to.
I know that must have killed her. Inside.
Bro, she hated it. She hated it.
Definitely,
she hated it. Yeah, for sure.
I can only imagine the show she would have put on, in a headline.
Yeah, of course.
WrestleMania, but
that was the same. Was that the same one where they lost tag team championships as well?
Yes. Yeah.
So they lost the tag team championship that they really thought they were gonna be, the forerunners and the pillars of, you know what I mean. And then to lose it on that night and then see 3 other women headline WrestleMania, that
devastating.
It's exactly why she disappeared for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now that we have Sasha, man, here to stay.
One last thing on these guys, Sasha and Bayley. I obviously through my Instagram ban, I guess I can call it. I've been spending a lot of time in the dark place called Twitter.
Exile.
Yeah, exile. That's the word. So I mentioned on Twitter the other day that I think this match has cemented Bayley and Sasha as this generation's Trish and Lita. And that's not in comparison of ability, because I think we can easily say Sasha and Bayley are way above in terms of ability.
Yeah, of course.
It's just how those two were the front runners of the women's division at that time. And yes, I know it is the whole for horsewomen of this kind of generation, but those two, just in terms of their chemistry and their stories together,
right.
They are the Trish and Lita of this, and I think that's a compliment for them. They would love something like that.
Sure. Like. For sure. Definitely, they definitely would, and I believe, I guess the argument to that would be that maybe Becky and Charlotte, but as great as their rivalry was, it's not as long-standing, it's not as long-serving. They were never really, the best friends that Bayley and Sasha are. And as I said, it is very similar to. I mean, Trish and Lita were never really best friends either in that respect.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. For me, I compare it even more so to Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
Yeah.
Because they were the top of their game. They did the best friends, worst of enemies thing for so long, and it kept on going. It never got old. However they spun it, and I think this chemistry between these two is very, very similar. When they're together, nothing's better. When they're apart, when they're at each other, nothing's better. So, bro, it's I could get emotional about talking about this, to be honest, because I think it literally is what wrestling is about. It is the emotion in it and how you sell the story, and put things together. And these two are just phenomenal, bro. That match was just crazy, crazy. Beautiful match, bro. Unfortunately, we have to move on. But let's talk about really quickly about some of the other matches that happened at Hell in a Cell. The other great storyline that we've seen is Roman Reigns and Jay Uso. One of these two, I can't remember which one it is. But that whole thing, bro. That as well, in terms of an emotion, it's a family thing, real life family thing as well. Obviously, they use that to the best of their ability. Like, that whole thing has been great. I think that has been great. Do you think it's the end of this now, or do you kind of see that carrying on in some way?
I think it's the end of Jay's chase for the Universal Championship.
Right. Yeah.
I absolutely loved the touch at the end with Alpha and Sika coming out to crown this guy as the tribal chief. That is different level. And if I want to nitpick a bit, they could have went one further and put Rikishi out there as well. That's his sons in the ring. And that would have been, sons, this guy's the guy in charge feeding our family. That's neither here or there. That would have been something else. But I think it would be interesting, I think, if they made Jay and Jimmy right now be like, okay, well, he gave us a choice. We either fall in line in his regime or we're exiled from the family. And if they took the exile route and we saw it play out on screen, that they were struggling, kind of going out on their own, trying to fend for their family, and then they kind of came back to Roman on some, I beg you, help us, big bro. Bro. I think that would be pretty interesting. Maybe too far out of the realm of wrestling, maybe.
Possibly that's some dynasty, Coronation Street type thing, bro. Like, that's crazy. That would be mad if they were able to pull that off. And it's doable. Within the realm of wrestling, it's doable. That would pull on their acting skills for the most, though. I swear that would be great. But I think as well, like, maybe this wouldn't happen now because we saw that Roman also attacked Jimmy as well. But I was expecting at some point to see that type of struggle of, do I fall in line, do I fight against Roman between both brothers. One of them decides to go with Roman, one of them doesn't, and then that they have their thing, and it would also then. Whoever chose Roman would be with Roman, but it will also then still leave Roman to do what he's doing with other wrestlers and have other rivalries as well, while those two go at it. We're not going to see that, but at the same time, there is still that possibility of having the two of them, that storyline carrying on with what you said about them still trying to make a decision whether they, fall in line, whether they change their mind, and to kind of see them do things with or for Roman just so their family gets fed. So it's kind of like they're doing it and they don't really want to, and they're beating up so and so, but they don't really want to, and that would be interesting indeed. That would definitely be interesting. But I don't know if WWE is ready to push that type of thing. I mean, they did great with what they did.
It was fantastic, and
it was amazing.
It was very similar to the first match they had at Clash of Champions, but obviously
Mm-hmm.
the added layers of, people were being choked out and everything, but they never said I quit, so the match has to continue. It was very, very hard. I've seen a lot of online journalists, other kind of YouTubers and stuff say they were close to tears, if not tearing, because it was just that level of emotion. Fantastic. Who knew WWE could tell stories like this?
Bro, and this is the thing, man. This is how we know it's possible when it's done right. When you put the right people together, when there's a natural chemistry as well. I mean, you're not always going to get that, unfortunately, but when it does happen, it's great. And I think for me, I'm gonna get a few haters when I say this, but at the same time, for me, it kind of right now sets apart WWE from what AEW is doing. Because I don't see that same type of emotion or that real emotion in AEW. So there's other things about AEW that's greater in terms of what they're doing with the wrestlers and even the stories as well. But it is lacking that natural emotion.
I think we will see it, just to stop you there. I think we will see it when the Kenny and Hangman Adam Page story comes to a head. I think that is probably going to be the first time we see that level of emotion. But as of now, we haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah, and that's true actually. And it was actually very interesting with Kenny because they've started this World Championship tournament, number one contender tournament. Kenny just came out the blocks, boom. Sonny Kiss was done in less than 30 seconds.
Not rating Sonny Kiss.
And Kenny was just like, yeah. You know what I mean? Even kind of did took the mic and held up Sonny's hand to say, well done. Kind of. You know what I mean? Oh. But for me, when I saw that as well, actually, I was like, finally, they're putting Kenny in a way where they probably should have done in the first place. I know they try to avoid the whole, because he's part of, the ownership and all the rest of it. Don't want to put him in the spotlight and people get upset and just say, oh, you're only doing it because he's, one of the founders and owners. Da. But for me, I feel as if both he and the Young Bucks should have been put in that position a lot earlier. I understand not doing it straight away, but I feel as if it's been way too long to do that with them. So I think that's going to be great as well. And we'll definitely see that real emotion with those two. That AEW is probably lacking a little. I mean, to be fair to them as well, actually, though, Cody has done great with that type of thing.
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
Cody has been great with that type of thing. But yeah, WWE right now is kind of their main stories, are on lock and they're doing well. With the other matches,
I just want to whittle that down. Go on. Smackdown, by the way, it's not Raw. There's still some rubbish going on Raw.
Very true.
Smackdown in between.
Very true.
Sasha Bayley, Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
It is SmackDown. So.
And the crazy thing is, you still got Seth and Murphy,
Rey Mysterio. Yeah.
and Rey Mysterio in the mix as well. So like even that has a good level. At one point it felt as if that storyline's been running for too long. But they've made it work. To be honest, they've still made it. Work. There are other matches that happened in Hell in a Cell, but it's kind of like we can brush over some of them. I'm not really a fan of the Miz having the Money in the Bank. I mean, I'd rather him have it than Otis, but I'm like, John Morrison's right there.
That's true. I mean, I think truth be told, just given the situation of who's champion and everything right now at WWE, it could be Otis, John Morrison, or Miz. Nobody's winning it.
Right.
Whoever catches the ins losing. I think maybe it's just a thing where Miz can take the loss rather than his career is still very early. If he did it, he might be
possibly.
Maybe that's what it's a case of.
Possibly, and to be honest, going back to Otis himself, I feel as if that decision was kind of
hasty.
Done. Yeah, it was kind of done hastily. Yeah, that's the word I probably was looking for and didn't realise. But yeah, and they realised and were like, not too sure about this one.
It's easy to put the briefcase on him. How do we now sell him as a world champion? That's the question they didn't answer.
Right. Right. For sure. He was like, he was a spoke about guy, and he was over with the fans and stuff like that, and getting the laughs because he's more of a comedic guy than anything else and all that kind of stuff. But not a believable champion in any way, shape or form. Way too early. Way too early. But with the Miz, for me, I just feel as if his momentum just hasn't been enough.
You're right.
In the last year or so. Maybe if it was 2 years ago, fine, no problem, it would be believable. Right now, he's been mixing it up and just really doing, again, this comedic stuff that doesn't make him a believable champion. But we'll see. Like you said, I believe and hope that it won't be a win for him, and he won't become champion over whether it be Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, or anyone else, Roman Reigns.
No chance.
Nah, not happening. Moving on to the other big pay-per-view of the weekend, which was Bound for Glory. Bound for Glory from Impact is their biggest show of the year. The first thing I want to touch on before I get to the World Championship match actually was The Rock appeared on Impact. The first time he's ever appeared on a non-WWE wrestling promotion or show or whatever you want to call it. And that was to induct. It was only via video message, but it was still a big thing to induct Ken Shamrock into their Impact Hall of Fame. That was different.
I mean, we spoke about this when this was first announced a couple of weeks ago, and I think the fact it was by video, I think the fact that he has transcended to beyond just being The Rock, he is Dwayne Johnson now. Right. It was very easy to get this done, and I'm not taking nothing away from Impact.
Of
but
course.
If he was to, even if he's still Dwayne Johnson today, and this was like a physical ceremony that he was supposed to turn up in the Impact Zone for, I'm not too sure this would have happened. Like,
right.
He is his own man, but I'm not too sure this would have happened.
Of course. No, for sure. And it, as you said, it was via video message, so it lost a little bit of its substance, but at the same time, just to be able to say that The Rock was on Impact is just crazy. To know that he's never been on any other promotion's show or anything like that in any way is crazy, bro.
It's a big win for them. They're gonna make YouTube videos, Instagram clips out of this for years to come. And
Trust
even
me.
for Ken Shamrock, obviously he's got a great relationship with The Rock. For The Rock, as big as he is today, to induct you into the Hall of Fame, it's a massive accolade. So
for sure. Moving on to one of the matches that happened was the cinematic match. We're getting cinematic matches now throughout 2020 between Moose and EC3. This one was crazy. I'm not the biggest fan of cinematic matches. I've said it before.
You said.
I'm really not. I always feel as if they're low budget, and it just feels whatever, innit? But
all right, you have to fill me in because I haven't seen this match. So
Okay. So what basically happened? If you've not seen or heard of their little rivalry, so at one point, EC3 returned to Impact. He's been away for a long time. He's returned. He stole Moose's championship,
the TNA championship,
the TNA heavyweight championship that Moose put on himself, and was kind of like on this whole, on the run basically with this championship. Moose was trying to find him every week, and then he found him, and it all culminated into this quite brutal, very brutal actually, match between them in an unsanctioned location. It was kind of like this really kind of derelict ring. The ring had no proper, no turnbuckle paddings or nothing like that. It was proper steel, everything. There were these people around the ring all hooded up in EC3 hoodies, banging on the mat as they were wrestling, and this rock music playing as it's going along. And as I said, I'm not necessarily a fan of this whole cinematic thing, but I must say the ending of it was phenomenal, bro. It was one of those things that just plays with your mind a little bit. You're like, what? So basically they were having their fight, and EC3 is going at him. There's blood involved and all the rest of it. But then EC3 kind of cut this promo while he's standing over Moose and saying, this championship means this, it means that, it was held by this person. You need to make sure, it's not a joke. Blah blah blah. So I'm thinking, okay. Moose then gets, then gets his way and starts beating on EC3, and he's shouting in his face, is this what you're asking for? Is this what you're asking for? EC3 turns around and shouts, yes. What? This is what I want. It's basically like, this is what I wanted. I've done all of this just to bring out this monster, this aggression in you, and all that kind of thing. So I was like, okay, because here's the thing. This is the main reason why I liked the twist. For so long, amongst us as black wrestling fans, we've had this whole thing with Moose kind of being, in his appearance, even in his ability, he's a big guy. Like, he should be the man in Impact.
But he's like a nearly man.
Yeah, he's kind of, he's been doing kind of like this parody of the Ultimate Warrior, parody of so and so, parody of this, that, and you're just like, bro, really? Now we're like, okay, this is the Moose that we wanted for so long. Let's hope we get this guy now, and it's kind of like Impact on, the rest of the guys in the locker room have been warned basically that Moose is here now. So whether that transcends towards the main Impact Championship, or they really make something of this TNA Championship, remains to be seen. But whatever they do, I believe and hope that this is the Moose that we wanted to see. This really big, aggressive guy, very dominant guy, very agile, very quick. He's kind of almost like a, very similar to a Roman Reigns or a Drew McIntyre, in the sense that he's big, but he can move and you can still do certain, very agile type stuff. So,
and I guess
that's why for me it was crazy.
I guess with the story told, it kind of fits into the whole of EC3's control your narrative thing, where he's brought that out of Moose. That sounds pretty good. I haven't been I've been following the story. I have been meaning to catch that match since the weekend, but just no time. So,
of course.
I'll definitely circle around to seeing that.
Yeah. Definitely check that out. Especially, as I said, that the last mate, because I think it was around about a 10-minute match. The last 5 minutes, bro, were really good. Moving on to the biggest story of Bound for Glory. Rich Swann is now the Impact champion. He defeated Eric Young. The story behind that one was Eric Young tried to, repeatedly injure him to the point of retirement. Rich Swann made this miraculous recovery and was able to face Eric Young in the main event of the show, and of course won. That then prompted all the guys from the locker room to come out and celebrate with him, hold him above their shoulders and all that kind of thing. It felt very Ron Simmons-esque when Ron Simmons became the first ever black recognized black world champion in WCW back in the 80s, I believe the late 80s or early 90s, one of the two. And it leads to the question of, is the Impact World Championship legit enough to give us hope of now legitimizing or making normal the Black World Champion?
I think so. I mean, if we're to rank the top titles amongst the top promotions in the world, I guess the Impact titles maybe about 4th or 5th somewhere, maybe behind obviously WWE, Universal, AEW, New Japan, IWGP. Then maybe Impact comes in somewhere there.
Ring of Honor possibly may rank a little bit above it or somewhere around the same, but yeah.
Fair enough, yeah. So I think at the end of the day, he's the top champion in that promotion. Right. For me, I love a redemption story. Obviously, he kind of left WWE in a bit of shame, scandal, whether it was true or not. It was all kind of sorted out, and this is him coming back and he's at the top of the mountain somewhere. Wherever he is, he's at the top of the mountain, and that's what really counts. And where we've seen him and we've seen obviously like world champions before. Bobby Lashley in TNA as well. You know,
he's
very
very
true.
true.
Run. Kofi Kingston, obviously in recent times in WWE. It is happening. It is happening more. I think probably what is going to normalize it is just is it more black talents that are given the opportunity to fight at the top of the card.
Right.
Because for instance, at WWE, we can't lie. We've got those in spades. Probably apart from maybe one or two, which I probably can't name right now, but everyone else is probably a legitimate WWE champion if given
push
the push. And
of course, for sure.
So, I mean, I think it's great. It's great for Rich Swann. It's great for black wrestling. I hope one day it becomes very normal that we won't be counting on our fingers. Oh, we've had this how many world champions and stuff. Like it becomes normal. But yeah, I just think for him personally, it's a great redemption story.
For sure, and to give people the story, obviously he was wrestling with WWE. Being a smaller guy, he was part of the cruiserweight division, a former cruiserweight champion. I believe that even on the night or the night before he was supposed to wrestle for the cruiserweight championship, this whole scandal type of thing went down. So the scandal was he and his wife, who's also a wrestler, and also she actually won.
Also won the Impact, the Knockout Championship.
So the Swann household is now running Impact right now. So there was a case of domestic abuse. I believe it was, to be specific on the story, they were driving somewhere. There was an altercation on the freeway, on the side of the freeway, and police are called in and whatnot. And this whole domestic abuse case was kind of out there, and because of that, he was suspended and then fired by WWE. He disappeared for a very long time. Didn't want to come back because of the kind of response that he was getting on social media from the fans, all that type of thing. He eventually did, after I think about 5-6 months, he did eventually, and he's kind of worked his way back in about a year and a half or so. And for him to be now top of Impact is amazing. Everyone knows how talented he is at what he does and stuff like that. And that storyline has been great. Again, very real emotion in that, for sure. To answer the question of legitimizing the black champion, Impact have never really been scared to do it.
100%.
Never been scared to do it. They've had, as you said, Bobby Lashley. There was Ron Killings, now R-Truth, who was, their champion for a long time, I think twice as well. And we've seen other guys kind of go for the championship and have opportunities. Will it help make it more normal or normalize it? Not for now. Yeah. Unfortunately, until it happens more often, maybe, or again in WWE, I believe it's not necessarily, going to change the landscape dramatically. With what's going on with Moose, there's a possibility that he could be another one that will happen in Impact itself. So again, Impact aren't scared. The answer to this question really would be to see how long WWE takes to put that championship on Big E.
Yeah.
I think it's down to that. I think it's literally down to that. How long will it take? It can't. Well, it has to actually happen. But if it does happen, it's not going to be like in 10 years, or I hope not anyway. It better not be. And then as we've said, there are a few guys in WWE who could and maybe should eventually be champion. You've got Bobby Lashley, you've got Keith Lee, who's believable. Maybe in a good few years to come, we've got Montez Ford, the same ones that we spoke of before a few weeks back when we were ranking the top 5 guys. AEW's got a long way to go, but a very long way to go. They're not legitimizing no one right now. So yeah, it actually does come down to WWE really, and
I was just gonna say, the truth. Yeah, when those bigger guys, AEW and WWE, start making it normal everyone else will, sort of thing. I think obviously where Impact have been trying to get themselves up into that kind of position, they have to try something different, and that's where they probably haven't been scared to give a blackface the championship, because they're trying different things, throwing things at the wall and see what sticks. But yeah, until the bigger names in the industry start doing it with confidence, really backing the champion they've chosen, giving them good lengthy runs with good wins, it won't become normal until then.
Yeah, and that's true. And going back to what the indies do and on the independent scene, I mean, when it was still all going on before the whole COVID and lockdown and whatever else, I was able to post every single week at least 3 guys each week who would win top championships in those promotions. Again, they're smaller promotions. Not everyone's looking at it thinking, oh my gosh, this is amazing in terms of credentials. Really, we were happy because we're just seeing another black person win a title. But as you say, until the big guys do it, what the smaller guys are doing will not necessarily have much traction on the whole industry. It's not really going to make a difference. I mean, you've got guys like Ricochet, Shane Strickland, who is now Isaiah Swerve Scott, Keith Lee, who were winning championship after championship all the time in these smaller promotions. Everywhere they went, holding sometimes 4 or 5 championships at a time. You know what I mean? But then move to WWE and kind of can't even get an opportunity. You know what I mean? Can't even get a match, let alone a championship match.
Thirsty.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, they're sitting in catering, waiting. You know what I mean? As the term goes. So yeah, as we said, until WWE makes it normal, or or a regular thing, and with confidence, it's not going to change. And Kofi's run was amazing. I don't play that down too much, as much as many people have and will. For me, it was great, but it was a one-off. It just felt as if it was a one-off, especially with the way it ended. Again, let's not go there. But with the way it ended, it definitely made it feel as if it was a one-off, and it's going to take a while till we see that again. We've got the promise of Big E, but until it happens, I'm not. I don't want to get too excited about that, and you know what I mean, and all that kind of thing. So it remains to be seen what happens there. But keep your eyes on Impact. I keep saying every single week, keep your eyes on Impact. They're doing stuff, and I think they just need a little bit more. Just need a little bit more views on what they're doing, because it's been consistent for a while. It's not the greatest, but it's consistent, and I like that. So
they need to throw some people into the arena, man. Like, do something. Like, people are finding a way to have fans or some kind of
very true
atmosphere. Like, they need to get involved in that.
Very true. Maybe some fake noise might help.
Something, yeah.
Who knows? They ain't got the budgets for all them screens around.
I know.
But that's not happening. I'll tell you that for nothing. But yeah, Impact is doing great things, and they're keeping up with everyone else to some level, which is great. Moving on to our final bit of the show. This one should be very easy. I've got like about 3 people I could choose.
I got loads.
I got a few people I could choose. I've got a feeling we'll go for the quite obvious ones, if I'm honest. But I'll go for one. My star of the week, 2-time star of the week, Sasha Banks. Has to be Sasha. I knew I would. Has to be Sasha. There is no one better right now in the world of wrestling. Black, white, Cuban or Asian, whatever it is. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, she's just on top, and of course she's won the championship. So, nobody better than Sasha Banks. I don't even know if you can even come with something else to me, because I don't know what else there is to say about her.
So,
not said already.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, we've sang all the praises, and I mean, if anything, hey Daz, I'm gonna ask you to join me in prayer that the good Lord just makes sure she has the reign that she deserves. That is my only request from here on out.
For real.
don't play her about and she loses it at the December pay-per-view or something. Like,
Right. It's got to be a run all the way through to at least WrestleMania. At the least,
100.
give her that WrestleMania Championship match, whether she wins or loses, depending on who it is. We need that run. It needs to be decent. It needs to be of substance. It just needs to be Sasha Banks at her best, man. And, you know what I mean? We're good. Yep. Give me your pick for your start of the week.
So, I'm actually going to go with who I thought you were going to pick.
Okay.
Because Sasha Banks was my pick.
That's why I chose her.
But I've got a few honourable mentions.
Okay, go for it. Go for that first.
Bianca Belair on Friday Night Smackdown.
Right.
That was her first Smackdown match. Looked like an absolute star. You know, she cleaned and then body pressed Zelina Vega. And, you know, I'm not a gym guy, as you can probably tell. I'm very small. But I know what it takes to do that. Her packaging, everything about her, charisma. Like, she's just a champion waiting for her championship to be handed to her. Like, she's absolutely brilliant. Josiah Williams, I heard that he is working on Keith Lee's new music. So, thanks be to God. Let's get that changed ASAP. But again, my star of the week, someone, like I said, I was very impressed with and very happy for, Rich Swann.
For sure.
I'm happy to see him take the top championship in that promotion, which is a promotion that is very well known. It's above an indie, you know. It's very well known in the United States. Sure. And like I said, I love a redemption story, and I love someone that's able to kind of face adversity. Like I say, whether it happened, whether it didn't happen, whether, you know, however it came out, he's managed to put it behind him. He's managed to climb his way back into a top promotion in the country and now be the face of that promotion. And yeah, like I say, terrific story. His missus won on the night as well. They're both champions in their house. So,
man. That's crazy. That's crazy. The two of them have won the championship, and even with his wife, the wrestler Su Yung, she wasn't even meant to be in that match. She wasn't even meant to be in that match at all. I mean, with the circumstances behind it, it's a little bit of a, sad in general with the person who was supposed to be in the match. Apparently dealing with some mental health issues, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's kind of, a great thing for Rich Swann and Su Yung to, both of them have gone home with the top brass. You know what I mean, as they say. So that's crazy. And as you mentioned, Impact being above an indie promotion. With all the wrestling that happens, there are only 3 wrestling shows that come on TV in the UK. And we forget that Impact is still one of them.
He's one of them, yeah.
So it is definitely above an indie. It is, one of the 3 biggest promotions in the world. So for Rich Swann to be, trusted to be top of and face of that company is great. It's a great achievement. So yeah, man, it's amazing to see, the 2 champions, Sasha Banks and Rich Swann, over the weekend. Again, long-term stories, the real emotion. It was wrestling at its best, to be honest. It's why we love this mad thing that we love, that we shouldn't really love as, older black men in the UK, let alone, anywhere else. But for me, if anyone was to ask me why I watch this thing, I would literally show them 2 matches and be happy to show them 2 matches and say, this is why. You know what I mean? And whether they like it or not, I don't care. But at the same time, I'd be very proud to show them and say, yeah, this is what I love. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, with that said, and on that note, we have come towards the end of our show. We could talk for days about both.
Let me just add one last thing.
Go on.
I did a video the other day with the wrestlings guys. It's on my channel. You guys can watch it. It was a Mount Rushmore of black wrestlers. This being,
I need to check that out. Check that out.
This being Black History Month, so we kind of all brought our lists forward and amalgamated our lists into one. And the last person on my list, I said with some type of fear because I thought I would be judged, and it was Sasha Banks.
Wow.
And I said Sasha Banks makes number 4 on my list of greatest black wrestlers of all time.
Okay.
And I had to justify myself, and the guys eventually came around and thought that's a fair pick. And I'm just happy through what happened at Hell in a Cell this weekend. I feel like my decision was absolutely justified. And I am nothing short of a prophet. Thank you very much.
Give me my flowers.
No, she's brilliant. And I said, I just felt like it was such a justified decision because she is brilliant.
Right. Yeah, for sure, bro. We could start another conversation, be here for another hour just talking about how great Sasha Banks really is, bro. But as I said, we are done. For us to check us out, talking about how great Sasha Banks is, you have to follow us on social media. You can catch Mex on the Dark Place. That is Twitter at WrestleManiac UK. Also, of course, you are watching this show on the WrestleManiac UK YouTube channel. Subscribe, click that notification button, do all that great stuff that you're supposed to do to make Mex feel better about his life. Because Instagram are taking the mick with his life right now.
Your boy's gonna be back, don't worry.
Keep his name alive in these streets.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Also, of course, you are following me. On Black Wrestling Alliance on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter. You'll catch me there sometimes. But also watch out, because there's going to be some new stuff coming very, very soon. But also as well, folks, keep listening on AffinityExtra.com. You can check us out every Thursday at 12 o'clock. And also great gospel music on the channel, on the website even, 24/7, 7 days a week. 366 days of the year, because we're talking about leap years right now. Folks, it's been great. I'm still excited. I want to talk some more, but we gotta go. So Mex, bro, thanks for being here, and we'll see you again next week. See you later.